Hello, and welcome back to the main channel. And yes, I've been gone for a while. Today's game, I think the best way to describe it is city skylines for people with autism. And if you're one of my old viewers and thinking, I don't have autism, you subscribe this channel for EU4 Let's Plays. I have bad news for you. Anyways, we're gonna do a custom game today. And I think for personal preference, even though there's cool other maps that I definitely would love to try out, I kind of want to show you the game a little bit in the basically hardest difficulty called realistic. So I'm gonna choose a map where I already have some knowledge. By the way, there's also two settings for this map, so they're completely empty, and one where they have some pre-built stuff. I do recommend the pre-built stuff where you can get a lot of population in, because population is going to be quite expensive. Basically, our most expensive resource is population. Yeah, welcome to communism. This is how this goes. And I'm going to do some personal preferences here. Money-wise, I will go on easy, because otherwise the early phase will take forever, trust me. And I do want to show off a little bit how this game works. So I'm going to give myself a good amount of money. I'm also gonna scale down fire and global events because they're less of a challenge. They are just annoying. With global events on Sirius, you just get earthquakes, and earthquakes happen like every month in the middle of your population center, like scripted in the middle of your population center, which is just not fun. I'm fine with everything else. I'm fine with epidemics, market price changes. That's all cool. It's like an influence on your nation that can be good, can be bad. I mean, epidemics can't be really good, but price changes can be good. All the other settings are gonna stay on hardest difficulty, like unsatisfied citizens reaction, meaning, yeah, I will start the earliest because I like to play this game as long as possible. This is a great game. And for vehicle availability, I'm even gonna go harder than what we normally have. I'm not just gonna challenge me that we will unlock vehicles over time, meaning we can't immediately have them all, which kind of makes sense that 1960 you can't get vehicles from the 2000s. No, I'm also gonna click the option that vehicles lock over time, so they're gonna stop being produced and we can't buy them anymore. I personally just really like this game mechanic. Trust me, you shall see why. And while the game is loading, let me just yep really quick how we're gonna play this today, because I can very much imagine a lot of you just don't know this game. So I will edit this video a lot. I will cut out a lot of the boring stuff, which is, let's just say there's a lot of waiting in realism mode, but I will also try to explain as much as possible. So when I do something, I will explain why and how. If you have any questions, this is gonna be a series, so put them into the comments. And I would say with that all pointed out, let's just start playing and see how far we can push this glorious nation of Austria in the ways of socialism. By the way, I'm not sure if I've ever said this, but this game is really hard. So yeah, let's hope I don't immediately go bankrupt or people die because I forget about something stupid like garbage, which is a thing that can happen in this game, realistically. As of our first goal for today is to kind of make a working city, or at least get the prerequisites done, which is kind of hard. Like, we could just start building stuff right now, but let's just say I'm building a shopping center over here. It doesn't build, right? We're in realism mode, meaning we can't just immediately build stuff with money. We need to get the construction workers and we need to get the construction vehicles, meaning the first thing we need for us to be able to do anything is a working construction center. And as a hot tip that you probably heard in any other guide, by the way, this is less of a guide and more of a follow my trip into insanity, but if this would be a guide, my recommendation would be start close to one of those supply hubs. And best case scenario, you do it in a big one, because the large custom houses can give you all the vehicles, especially terrain wise. The smaller ones, I mean, they still work, but you can't get every vehicle from them. There's a limitation, especially like rail construction vehicles. You can only get the small ones, and railway already takes forever to be built in realistic mode, so yeah, don't make it worse for yourself. Anyways, my plan for today is that we're gonna build up a construction center over here, and maybe even our core industry over here. I will also use Vienna as our population hub, because most of the profitable factories, actually I guess all of them, need workers, and importing workers is very limited, and even more importantly, very expensive. So we will utilize the city, which is very populated, which will change as soon as we get close. Talking about Vienna, the good thing why we have a pre-built city is, unironically, the cathedral, or in some other cities, the chapel. Because if you look to your advisors, Minister of Propaganda and Belief, the advice is, you are a socialist government that against any religion, so you cannot build any more churches. Meaning that if we wouldn't have gotten the pre-built cities, we would have never had any churches or chapels or anything to satisfy the faith of people, which is a need they have, and we have very harsh needs. So having at least something around to satisfy this need, it's gonna be useful, okay? And it's a big church, so yeah, we're gonna use that. But I would say, let's just start building. Or the construction center, it's over here at construction industry, and we're gonna build, because you get a few for free at the beginning, construction offices. Basically, over here you have a few real ones, like those are actually big and can be used at much bigger capacity. But for us to be actually able to play in realistic mode, we get some of those scrappy ones, and we get 7 of them. So along this road, I'm just gonna hold shift and build multiple of them. More construction vehicles means faster construction construction. There is a big bottleneck to this sentence that we will get to very soon, but for now, that is good. As for realistic, it is quite indeed very realistic. So we need a gas station next, and I'm actually also going to build a gas station over here for a very stupid reason, but we need one over here too. And the last important thing we need to build before we can do anything really is hidden over here at General Cargo, and looks like we don't have it researched, which we don't. By the way, we work with researchable tags, meaning a lot of the stuff that is actually good, we just don't have researched yet. So we have to be a little bit more scrappy at the beginning. But yeah, distribution offices are very, very important for the beginning of the game. And this will be one of our first researches we do take. But we can't research anything until we have a university, for which we need professors, for which we need working city infrastructure. But should not make this too confusing. Let's talk about the needs of the people when we get there. If I'm like really nice, I'm gonna put this into chapters from beginning words to how to build up a construction, how to needs work. I will try to kind of make it more structured. So if you want to use this first episode as kinda a guide, or actually all episodes, feel free to do so. And if you have any questions, jokes aside, put them in the comments. I will either answer them immediately or make them part of the next episode. Anyways, why did we build this distribution offices? Very good question, dear viewer. You're gonna buy over here with rubles because, yeah, explaining all of this is gonna be quite a bit. We have two currencies. We have the rubles, which we use for our eastern borders, basically trading with the Soviet Union or the Warsaw Pact. And we have western borders, which is basically NATO, very basically trade in dollars. We don't have a lot of dollars. We have quite a bit of rubles. And at the beginning of the game, the currencies are basically worth the same. Like, this is not 100% true. If I go into here and compare the prices, you see there is a difference between dollars and rubles. By the way, yeah, there's like an updating price list for every good that exists, so fun. But you see the currencies are pretty close to each other. The main factor why we don't want to start with dollars, which could actually be a good challenge video for the future, is we don't nearly have enough vehicles to actually run with dollars. They just don't have a lot of the construction vehicles. They don't have a lot of the transportation vehicles. At least they don't sell them to us. Very rude. Later on they will, but for now, the dollar is kind of useless. If you look over here, when I go to filter, you see so much more categories of vehicles. It is genuinely crazy. So this is much better for the beginning. I'm going to do something crazy. Unpause the game now. Buy one of these fuel trucks, which are really good for the beginning. These are the bigger ones. Teaching you the first thing. If you right-click the star here, you can kind of favorite vehicles. So the vehicles that I always use are on top thanks to this pre-selection. If you're interested in which vehicles I like, there you go for the beginning. But I'm not going to bore you too much with that. While this vehicle is now coming from over here with very, very limited fuel, you see this is nearly at empty. And we're going to watch it go to over here. Now that it has arrived, it still has some fuel left. This is very important, by the way. This is why we don't get it over here where we also have this prepared. It's because it would run out of fuel on the way here and then just couldn't drive anymore. Kind of annoying, but welcome to realism mode. We're going to order it to load fuel and unload fuel at the gas station. And we're going to say, try to keep it up to being 80% filled in all categories. So basically, the distribution office is a building that allows you to always check for resources in certain buildings and transport stuff from A to B without you actively thinking about it. Right now, very simple order. Go to the custom house, pick up fuel, go to the fuel station, load it off, and if it's still under 80%, do it again. So this truck is now going to go to the custom house, load fuel up to 100%, unload 100% of the fuel, and then go back home. And yeah, the fuel station is getting filled. I'm going to also order it to fill this fuel station over here. We're going to get 2 more fuel trucks into here. And once this truck is done here, I'm going to give it to that one. I will literally destroy these buildings very, very soon. They're on 40%, that's fine. Just for now, it is kind of important that he immediately turned around to actually fuel up now. But yeah, for now, it's really important to have it because if you don't have a fuel station, all of the trucks will just not be driving anymore. I mean, they will drive to the building they should be parked at, but they won't get out if there's no fuel station in range. So yeah, this is a little bit tedious if you're new to the game. I'll try to explain it. But as I said, I want to be more in detail with the first episode. Later on, we will not go into much detail, but every time I explain something for the first time, I kind of want to make sure that people get it. And yeah, you might see now why I say this is like city skylines for people with autism. Like, I didn't mean it as an insult, but I'm like very, very sure I'm somewhere on the scale there. And you need a certain amount of commitment to learn this game, especially what I try to do here is help people who want to play the game but just feel overwhelmed. I mean, you can just play easy mode or normal mode. Realistic is very, very punishing, and I'm just very stupid because I never played anything else than realistic mode, so I only know the game like this. And I feel like I'm at the point now where I've played so much and gotten so much love for the game that I want to kind of share my knowledge, because there are a lot of good guides out there, but they're either not very compact or not specific to your problem. Trust me, this is my channel. We're gonna have every single problem that exists. I just know my luck. So yeah, anyways, yapping aside, we're gonna buy some construction vehicles, meaning I will buy buy 1 vehicle of every category. Actually, I'm gonna buy 2 vehicles of every category, so we are a bit faster. So 2 buses here, 2 covered hulls, and that's everything we can get because we only have 4 parking spots here. Next construction office, 2 dumpers, 2 open hulls. Next I'm gonna get 2 bulldozers, 2 cranes, 2 excavators, 2 concrete mixers, 2 asphalt pavers, 2 rollers, and now we've actually at least everything. So my recommendation is we will need more dumpers. Transporting gravel is gonna be very essential at the beginning, and open hulls are also gonna be very important because the main building resources are steel, boards, prefab panels, and bricks, and it's basically all open vehicles. After that, I would also say very important is buses because construction needs construction workers. Yeah, they kind of need a way to get to the construction site. And I would say 1 more excavator and 1 crane. Perfect. Now the only thing missing is to kind of assign where they should get the resources from. And for the beginning, that is very easy because I'm just going to say use the custom house. We will get everything from the custom house, and I'm going to copy these orders via this button over here to all the other construction offices, meaning they have nothing, copying the orders, and now they know where to get it. By the way, that also works with most things. So with the distribution office over here, I can also just copy the task and give it to the other distribution office, meaning that I don't need to do anything with this distribution office over here, then to basically delete the order to fill up this gas station over here, because later on I will just delete it anyways. This is just here for the beginning because we need some fuel for all the vehicles that are now coming over. And yeah, now we just need to wait because all the vehicles are coming from the distribution office very slowly. Welcome to realism mode where nothing's fast and everything takes forever. Great. I do encourage you to look at the dates between the cuts, especially later on in the game, because after I've explained all the basics, I will just give over so much waiting time. Funny side note, because we play on the Austrian map, there's actually randomly generated Austrian city and village names, which is quite entertaining to me because most of these are really not fitting. It's just randomly put there and not even close to the real location. But Groß-Enzersdorf is apparently now north of Vienna. Very cool. Welcome to communism, where I decide where the city names are, not the people, because I know better. One life hack that is very, very important because the game basically never teaches you this. If you hold control and on your numpad, the number 1 or 2, you get a very fast speed up. I'm just gonna warn you here, the speed up with 1, which is less fast, but still very fast, because this is full speed from the game. And then if I go control 1, it is, I think, even more than double as fast. Control numpad 2 is, I think, double as fast as the fast before. Problem with that is if you use those speed up modes, especially the very fast one, you tend to bug the game sometimes. Like vehicles get stuck in each other, population despawns or starves to death because they are too stupid to get food. Like, I'm not even joking. So late in the game, I will use this less, but now that we just literally build construction, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. By the way, what I just did is that I went to the building, click this here, change working place / depot for all vehicles, and then clicked on the distribution office over here. Meaning that all the vehicles, which is only this vehicle over here, will now go over here and use that. Because now I can get the supply up back, because if you demolish it, you get it back into your distribution office pool, meaning we can build another 4 again, because you can only have 5. It's very limited. Very annoying for distribution offices because it's 3 vehicles per 3 distribution office. That's nothing. Anyways, let's build an actual construction office. I know, crazy. Who would have thought? We are, I don't know how many minutes into the video, and I was just yapping. I'm so sorry. But I really struggled to what to explain because a lot of the things are now obvious for me, and I try to get away from that and actually explain everything I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do now is build 1 construction office, or actually, you know what? I'm gonna build multiple ones along the line, and I'm already gonna do something very horrendous, and I'm gonna order the game to build an asphalt road, which is by far the best road here. You see the top speed over here is 110 kilometers per hour, which is a different amount of freedom units. I'm very sorry, I'm gonna use kilometers per hour. While the dirt road is 35. That's not good. The gravel road, which is a bit faster, 60 kilometers per hour, is less influenced by rain, but still very much influenced by snow. The asphalt road is basically the best. You still get slowed down by snow or rain, but it's not nearly as much as the other 2 roads. We could get snow plows, which is kind of wasteful because they drive over and it immediately snows again, and all I did was useless, so I tend to not get them. And to be fair, the asphalt roads are really fast, so we're just gonna immediately build them in front of the construction offices. You can just build lower roads like this. Just be careful when you do this, because if you overbuild a road, you can't really take it back without a destruction office, which, yeah, we don't have that yet, and I don't want to build it anytime soon, so everything I build is planned, very calculated, so I can't take it back. I can destroy this road, right? There's nothing in here. It says it needs gravel and it needs asphalt and it's the next building step. So as long as there's no resources in here, you can just go to demolish and it despawns. That's fine. But the moment they start constructing anything here, you have to get a destruction office to get rid of it. So yeah, be kind of careful what you do here. But a very good feature the game has is the planning mode, because if you don't overbuild something and just build it yourself, basically asks you, hey, do you want to build this? And you can just say no. But if you want to build it, you have to click over here to accept basically the construction. And now it builds this road again. Yeah, I try to explain as much as possible, but there's so much to this, so good luck. Well, these vehicles are now going out to collect gravel, which is the first step of the road. Get workers and gravel. Firstly, gravel, of course. I will concentrate on other things like energy. Yes, electricity is a thing we do need. These construction offices need electricity, which is a lie. They actually function without electricity, but they will cry about not having electricity. So what I would say now is let's talk about electricity. The most basic concept is that for the beginning, we're not going to build any power plant because it's really expensive and you need workers. So we're just going to search for something like this at the border, which you do have in a lot of positions, which is basically a foreign power connection where you can export or import electricity. You're of course going to import. And no, right now, even though I click on import, we're not going to pay anything for electricity right now because you're basically adjusting the maximum amount you want to import. Meaning if I click this twice, I'm getting 20% that we can get through this, but only if it's needed. So if we don't need electricity from this, we're not going to pay anything. Yeah, electricity is not very logical in this game. You can see it like a liquid. A building fills up with electricity, but it immediately empties itself. Let's not go into this, but yeah, this first time we paid is just for filling up the capacity over here. And now we bought some gravel. Very cool. Anyways, we have to be kind of careful with this because we only have this foreign connection over here, meaning we can only connect one power line, which for the grand network of our electricity will not be enough. So the first building we will build is a high voltage switch. I'm gonna put some distance to the road because I want to build a little bit. I mean, it's kind of stupid words for a communism block simulator, but I want to build a little bit beautiful. So once I have some construction ready, I will turn this into an actual highway with some roundabouts here. For now, it's not a priority, but before we upgrade this to an asphalt road, I will make it more. It doesn't matter. Let's go back to electricity. And this building over here gives us 6 different switches. For power lines, I'm just basically building the ones with the most wattage because this is going to be our main power line. So we should have high capacity for this. This is kind of important. And we just connect it on. So very important here. Be careful to be connected. I like to use dirt roads here because they don't need any construction. That's the upside of dirt roads. You can just build them and immediately remove them and they're just instantly built. If I would build a gravel road, it would just start like a building project, which it is kind of annoying. So what I tend to do with those buildings when they are not important for vehicles and only the road connection to basically be built, or if they start burning and the fire trucks need to get there, I'm just mostly using dirt roads, meaning if you hold control, it doesn't build a road that it would normally build, because in this case, we are building on a gravel road, so it tries to connect it with a gravel road, which we don't want, so I'm gonna get rid of that. Next important step, we need a power transformer. We're gonna build it into this direction, because this way, it needs to be connected with our power distribution, and over here, it needs a road connection. Good. Do we have power yet? No. Firstly, it's not built. Secondly, we need the last thing. We now went from high voltage to low voltage. That's basically this power transformer, turning it from high voltage to low voltage. And low voltage we can actually use to power our buildings. So we're gonna build an electric substation over here. Once again, kind of sneak it in somewhere here. Very important, I'm not gonna build a gravel footpath, so I'm just gonna build a mud footpath. And last thing, we need a connection with the medium voltage. I said low voltage, but this is actually medium voltage. Not important. Okay, there's no low voltage, there's just high voltage, and I guess medium voltage. In my head, it's low voltage. What I tend to do now, because you can see you might need a lot of connections here, I tend to use underground cables, which are less efficient, but they are also less in the way. That's just my personal preference. There's nothing wrong with the open power lines. And if you're confused what I just did, you have these buttons over here for the different map modes or a snapping option. I'm basically just using F1, F2, and F3 for the underground map mode. So I will not really click on those, but that's basically what I'm using. Plus the snapping mode is kind of important for stuff like road construction, where you want to build a road next to a road and it snaps on the road. By the way, I just noticed that I want to build a roundabout here and the power lines would go through there. So I'm just gonna make a bit more space so I have a little bit more liberty to work around it. And let's check if this is all one power line. It is. It's all connected. Very good. It's all highlighted when I click on it. Perfect. Just waiting for the vehicles to get to the construction site, get the resources, and do their stuff. And yeah, I would actually say there's a great opportunity to talk about that. Why I bought what construction vehicle. It is kind of very obvious, and at the same time, it might not be for a new player. But with certain construction vehicles, you can speed up certain processes by a lot. Like an excavator is amazing at the groundwork stage, meaning that it's multiple times better than any worker would be. So once we get all the goods for this construction phase, like concrete, gravel, asphalt, this thing will just very efficiently build this. At least least the first phase. And you just saw the mixer came, we got the concrete, now waiting for the gravel and the asphalt. And I can imagine we will very much have a bottleneck very soon at this custom house, but it's the only one we got. There's another one over here, but there's no real road connection. Like this takes forever and we would need multiple fuel stations to kind of get there. So yeah, there's some steps that need workers. There's some steps that only need mechanisms, which are basically the name of the vehicles that help or do the construction phase. In terms of the excavator, it just does everything by its own. But stuff like the cranes over here help workers. But over here we see our first workers doing the good job. I guess now they're just playing Squid Game. Very cool. Anyways, these over here, oh, this is such an ADHD channel. I'm so sorry. I'll try to fix it in post. This crane over here is very fast and speeds up the working by a lot, but it does need workers. So they're an assistant mechanism. While stuff like the paver or the roller can work on their own. Having people on the construction site makes them even faster, but they don't need people. It's nothing you need to remember, but I wanted to mention it at least once, so it's a little bit in your head. Also, what I'm seeing now is that most of the construction phases are done. They're basically just waiting for asphalt. And because this is a very short road, I don't know if that's intended by the game or a bug, but if there's like only a very short road, the game doesn't use mechanisms. Like I can't tell this mechanism to go there. This is kind of automated. This construction site basically searches for all the construction work within 1,000 meters, which you see highlighted over here. We can extend that range, but I'm gonna get rid of these construction offices very soon and gonna use the normal ones. So yeah, don't get confused. They only get workers and do it the hard way. For the longer roads, we get the mechanisms, which are gonna be so much faster, and I'm basically gonna turn most of these roads over here into asphalt roads very soon. I just need to be careful that I don't block road access, so we kind of need to build like a parallel road to this. We can still get our supplies while we're building all of this. But let's talk about when we get there. And yeah, now you see the excavator is gone. The crane is here for the next step, meaning it can't work on its own. It will need workers, but it will speed up construction progress by so much. Okay, now there actually like are some workers here, but we don't have the resources yet. Thanks, game. Anyways, I'm gonna do a short time jump now. I'm gonna let these buildings be built, and I see in a bit when all of this is constructed. Something I could actually try out for the end of the episode, which I never worked with before, is the time lapse. And I would say every 100 seconds, it does a photo now. Okay, really cool. Let's see at the end of the episode if that works, because I never used this before. And the first construction office is done. I'm just gonna be rude and copy all the orders over here, and I'm gonna get as much vehicles via the thing I showed before, change workplace / depot for all vehicles, into here, and I'm gonna get rid of most of the free construction offices because they're kind of pathetic. Okay, I don't want to be too rude to them, but they're kind of bad, right? They don't have a lot of capacity. They take up a lot of space. Second one is already done too, so I'm gonna turn the rest of the vehicles into there, and we can buy even more construction vehicles. Very, very good. I like how we immediately have this cramped traffic, immediate traffic jam. Beautiful. Welcome to this game. Get used to traffic jams. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, gonna buy more construction vehicles. Gonna be very careful in getting rid of these reconstruction offices because I don't actually want to start a deconstruction mission off the road, which you can do, by the way. It looks like this, and like construction, you can just immediately cancel it if it didn't start building. Funnily enough, that button doesn't work if you upgrade a road, because if you upgrade a road, you have already done the first step of construction, which is gravel. So it already counts as in progress, and you need a deconstruction office to stop it or actually destroy it. So don't upgrade roads that you don't want to upgrade yet. Just be careful about that. Also, very soon we have power because, yeah, this is all done. This is all connected. You see the voltage is up, meaning it does get electricity. And the voltage indicator, if you want to have a very simple explanation for that, shows you the capacity. So if this goes all the way full, you will probably get some power outages because you are over capacity with your electricity, meaning in the long term, you can't just run everything through one power line because it will go over capacity and you will get blackouts. Yeah, there's a lot of things in realistic mode that are quite realistic. I know, crazy. Anyways, I'm not going to do the boring thing. We're going to start construction on the actual highway, meaning for the roundabout, I will build this side road. We will also need, and I said we don't need it, but I apparently lied to myself, a deconstruction office. I would say we built just a small one. I don't think we need a big one for now. You know what? Go big or go home. We're going to build a big one. Build it over here. Already uses an asphalt road. Beautiful. Giving our construction offices something to do. And I would say everything forward from here. I'm going to build a parallel road. Oh, true. I can't do that. We still have... Okay. I'm just going to waste a little bit of money and discard this fuel, which is very important, by the way. If you don't discard off the fuel and destroy the free office now, you will need a destruction office because the fuel counts as toxic trash or whatever it's called. While the free building, you can just get rid for free. The things that are in the building have to be destroyed. So if you destroy a free building, be careful that it is emptied out. I'm just gonna try to explain all of my beginner mistakes. I'm also gonna merge some of these roads because if you do stuff like that, this is two different road projects. projects now, and you can merge this via placing a waypoint for a second and then removing it. Doesn't always work, but it's very good at merging roads, which turns into one big construction project instead of multiple ones. And I'm gonna be horrible. I'm gonna build this. I have a dirt connection over here. I have a dirt connection over here. So there's like 3 different steps of the road construction, meaning they can work on multiple steps at the same time instead of working on like one forever. And because I'm gonna plan a roundabout here, I'm just gonna stop the road construction here because it gives me space to kind of plan around this area a bit more. And yeah, while we're waiting, I'm just gonna, you know, speed up. Very cool. Also buy new vehicles for the new construction office. And yeah, I think 3 construction offices is more than enough for the beginning. We already lost nearly $1 million. That's why I say I want to have more money for the beginning, meaning we can have more construction offices right from the beginning, because one vehicle is very expensive, which they really are. They are so expensive. And this game also has inflation, so over time, everything will become more expensive. Yeah, but let's not talk about that now. I will try to explain everything, but not at once. I don't want you to get brain damage from watching the first episode of this game. I am so sorry. Oh, the Natural History Museum is on fire. Yeah, we are on normal fires, and I would say the most expensive building Vienna has right now is burning down. There is nothing I can do. To be fair, this building over here is like a main reason why a lot of the people in Vienna will die. So I'm fine with this, because normally for the startup buildings, they don't really need the stuff you provide with like heat, water, electricity, like all of the needs. Problem being, this over here is not one of those standard buildings. This is a DLC building. So this building produces waste, needs water, needs heating, needs electricity. So every person that goes into this building will die because those needs are not satisfied. So at the beginning of the game, I basically deactivated this building by basically letting no one work here. With the building now gracefully burning down, the problem is fixed permanently. On the other hand, it's kind of sad because later on I will have to rebuild it, but at least it stopped reducing the population of Vienna. Yeah, beautiful. I'm gonna suspend the demolition because otherwise people will go and work here and die probably because the needs get activated. So yeah, I'm just gonna pretend like this never existed and go back to our beautiful Großenzersdorf. Oh, that's such a good start. But yeah, the background arrows are being constructed very good. I'll actually also have to increase the auto search length for these construction offices because I'm pretty sure, yeah, no one worked on this because this is not in range. And now that I extended it, it is very good. Anyways, bus, a bit of everything, and most importantly, a lot of garbage vehicles. This is the most important vehicle for this building because transporting off all the garbage takes forever from every deconstruction site. If you want to know what I mean, this over here has 844 tons of mixed waste. One of these vehicles can transport 6.5 tons of waste. That would take forever. And it will take forever later on. But for now, I'm not going to care about this. We're just going to reconstruct this part of the road over here once all of these vehicles have arrived and fueled themselves up. I mean, I can already give the order of like deconstructing this cross section over here so they stop using it. And we can start construction on our way better and improved TM road network very soon. Yeah, demolish it. And now they have to transport off the trash, which is not as much for the road. And with the gravel road destroyed, we're only left with a dirt road, which we can now permanently destroy. Very good. Meaning we can finally start to build our beautiful, beautiful planned roundabout. And how I do this, because doing a cycle like this kind of is annoying, what I do is I'm going to build a slight little road here where I know this is kind of the middle of this road. And then from there, I'm going to build the roundabout because from here you can make very good curves. So I'm going to do this. I think this is like a decent size for a roundabout. And I'm going to destroy that one bit over here that was straight. And now we're going to close it from the other side. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful roundabout. If I'm 100% honest, I saw someone else when I learned the game doing roundabouts. I just love the idea. And I'm not going to lie, roundabouts are very useful in this game. So I encourage you to do that too. Like roundabouts, jokes aside, are really good. And if you want to increase and decrease the curvature of a road, you just use your mouse wheel and it does that. I'm just basically using maximum curvature. This looks a little bit scuffed over here, but that's okay. Yeah, overall, I'm happy with this roundabout. Looks a little bit aggressive on this curve, but nothing that is too bad. I'm just going to show you something else now, that if you want to upgrade a lot of roads, or I guess anything else, you can just use this trick here, where I have selected asphalt roads now, and I could just manually go all over this, and this would take a while. Or you can just hold shift and drag a box of stuff that should be upgraded, and that's how you do it. Very beautiful. Just going to build the other side of the highway over here real quick, and that should be that. Yeah, the first step of the game, unironically, is infrastructure. So we're going to do that. And you see in the background, the oil price has gone up. Right now would be a very good moment to export a lot of oil. And I do actually know from a source called Dude Trust Me that we have oil over here. So to keep our economy a little bit afloat while we build up Vienna, I'm gonna pump a little bit of oil over here. But for now though, we need infrastructure. Yeah, the first step of this game is unironically infrastructure. And I've already recorded like over an hour, so oh no. I'm actually gonna prioritize like those inward roads so we can have like a fast asphalt connection to the custom house as fast as possible. And I don't know why, but seeing them work like this is just so satisfying to me. It's like watching paint dry kind of thing, okay? But it tickles my brain, so I like it. Road construction in this game is very satisfying. I'm gonna connect this now up, deleting that road connection, meaning the vehicles now can drive through here to that asphalt road, giving me the capacity to finally upgrade this entire road here, also to asphalt. And now they can use the other road. For the vehicles that are currently on this road, they will just go off it as soon as they notice that this is construction site, which is, I guess, they just don't care. It's just gonna drive through it. But all the vehicles that haven't already planned a route will now use the faster road, which is very good. There's also a way to kind of stop some bottlenecks where you build some storages and order trucks to gradually just take resources via distribution offices from the custom houses to fill up those storages. And not gonna lie, this is a very decent idea to kind of prevent some bottlenecks you will have over here, especially at the beginning. I just tend to skip this step and immediately go to railway, basically using trains to get my resources and then building my own distribution office for my construction industry and I guess basically all the other industries to get it from there. So I'm kind of planning in my head already that we will have like a huge transferring hub over here via railway where we're gonna buy all our resources in like one big train and load it off over here. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to start it this episode, but I'm also pretty sure we will be able to start it very soon. What I will also start right now is, because we kind of need it soonish, like build a parallel road over here, and that road will be a connection to the roundabout from here. And I'm building this road for two reasons. Firstly, we will have more space to build buildings. I know, crazy. And on the other hand, we need to gradually upgrade this road over here to asphalt. And if I upgrade this piece, this construction office over here won't be able to drive over it anymore, meaning it would need to go all around here through the dirt road, through Vienna, just to reach the customs house over here, which is horrible. So my solution is that we're just gonna build this road here, where they can just use this side while we upgrade this, and then just gradually upgrade the road until we're all the way up here. So over time, we will have an asphalt road everywhere here. And yeah, that's kind of the quirks of realism mode, where you have to kind of plan a lot ahead and then build it, because as you see, construction takes quite the time. I mean, thanks to like quadruple speed or whatever this is, we can speed it up by a lot. Still takes a long time though. Looks funny though. It's just really fast drive by now. And we have reached winter. Yay. Most of the gravel roads just have become basically useless. So I'm kind of happy we got asphalt as fast as we did. The construction has not been slowed down. Very good. Construction gods are pleased. With that, I guess, I mean, the Soviet Union, I don't know. Starling being very happy that the 4-year plan will only take 8 years this time. And yeah, I'm just gonna prepare a little bit of a space over here. Something I will also plan ahead now is an actual gas station. And you kind of need to be careful about this, because gas station can very much create bad traffic. So what I'm doing now, I'm planning ahead. I'm gonna use this one-way through gas station. There's also like the alternative where they drive in and drive out from the same path. I'm more of a fan of this one, where they go in from the one side and drive into the other. And I'm gonna build it like this because it has electricity from this electric substation over here. I'm just gonna name this real quick with all the different options. You can like hover over here and you see what building is connected to what. This also exists for water, sewage, heating. Very important later. For now, we only have electricity, so you can kind of see what building is connected to what electric substation. And if you go too far away like this, you will see over here it's not in range anymore. Right here, we would have no more power for this building. Once again, a small thing that is kind of obvious, but I do try my best to be as thorough as possible with the first episode, or at least first part of the series, even though I risk kind of being boring. Editor Florius, meme here, go. By the way, this is very much a passion project on the side. You might know I have a second channel that takes up quite a lot of my work at the moment, and it's the reason why I haven't uploaded in here for quite a while and have neglected you like a bad dad. You're welcome. Yeah, I want to do some fun things here again, so welcome to Unprofessional Florius on the main channel, where we enjoy a little bit of a tomfoolery and autism. You're welcome. So while building quite a bit of roads, I'm just gonna skip through all of this and wait for the snow to melt, because the downside of the snow is that you don't really see your roads very well. Kind of, you know, you see them, but oh, amazing, we immediately get an epidemic. Great. But if you have a fuel station, I'm just gonna order my vehicles over here to ignore this free station over here. I'm gonna start using that one over here. As more capacity, has better infrastructure in a way, I'm also gonna order this road to be built. And with the snow melted, I can show off our beautiful, beautiful road construction project so far. It is basically done in all directions. directions. As I said before, we're gonna go a little bit into the money making in a second. I'm gonna start a little bit of an oil drilling expedition over here to make bang. But before we go into that, I would like to finish our highway project, at least in this direction, and show off two-way roads and one-way roads. Area road by default, and this is basically only important for asphalt roads because you can't do this for gravel roads, but for asphalt. Anyways, area road by default is two-way, but you can turn it into a one-way road, which is for something like a highway, quite useful. It doesn't really have any upsides, then it helps you to regulate traffic better. I personally would like an incentive for building highways like this, that maybe one-way roads are a bit faster than both-way roads. Would kind of encourage building highways more in this game. Would be a cool thing. But besides this, I just like to do it to kind of gear traffic into a direction. It's pretty straightforward into, you know, drag and drop, and the direction you drag it in is the way it will go forward. So what we have over here is a normal in a way of for every person that drives on the right side of the road, the correct side, basically introducing a path in or off the roundabout. So the roundabout goes in all the way around, and then you can go off here and you can go on here. I will basically turn all of the highway that is already done into that. Like over here, this is open, so I'm not going to do it over here, but all the entrances will get this treatment from me. Especially the long highway will get this treatment. One thing I do recommend when you have a highway like this, especially ending at a custom house, is that sometimes vehicles tend to get stuck. So I like to have, by the way, I'm going to get rid of that. I like to have right at the end a small little dirt road, because sometimes they bug each other out, like I said before, when you speed forward, and they run out of fuel. And because this is only one way, they can't turn around and go to the next fuel station. So they basically just stop driving. A very good prevention to that is have a small dirt road right at the end. So if they ever run out of fuel, they have a direct route back, because the custom house doesn't really count as a turnaround point. It is a building they go in and then go out. So if they run out of fuel, this little road here allows them to go back and fix that problem. Yeah, and there's like one of the moments where I can't get rid of this point because of, actually don't know why, but I mean, there's a merge road button here, right? Yeah, I can't even merge it with that. There's something mythical about this point that I can't get rid of it. But yeah, that's the highway project completed for now. Let's go into money. Our main industry is gonna stay with petrol because I like to build oil refineries. They're pretty good. But for the beginning, we don't have it researched, meaning we will need to build an entire city just to research that. But for now, what we can do is build pump checks. Small little guide. With T, you can basically mirror in construction. With R, you can just 90 degrees turn it around. And with mouse wheel, you can just do the normal mouse wheel stuff. That's not important. So I'm just gonna not care about the quality of this oil. I'm just gonna try to get as much oil into the range of these pumping checks. You can basically harvest it all and later on via pipelines bring it to one strategic collection point. You see these pump checks in a cycle basically eat up all of the resources in the ground. So I'm gonna try to build them as good strategically as I can to get most of this. And I think I actually got it nearly all. It's like 1% I didn't get over, but most of these have a good percentage. So this is gonna be our oil drilling operation. Very good. Next step, connect it all with roads. So this is my planned road for this. I will not build any of the connection points to the pump checks yet because it would just split the road into many little projects. This way we have a few very big long roads you can build way faster. Basically the thought behind this is that one road, you only need the steps all in one go, while if you have many small roads, all of these construction vehicles will be split up and split their efforts, which is good in certain moments, but in moments like this it would just drag out the entire building procedure indefinitely. So we're gonna build the middle roads, and then once they are built, we're gonna build all the small ones. See you once it's done. After that, we're gonna do piping and electricity. I mean, we could actually already start with electricity at the entry point, building a power transformer in this direction over here. We only need a gravel road, so that is good. And we're gonna connect it to our power hub over here. And yes, the game doesn't care about if you cross your power lines, so realistic mode does have its limits. It's still quite very realistic for a city building game, I have to say that. But yeah, there are limits to realism, thankfully. And in the background, I'm just gonna slightly upgrade this. And kind of working against my ideas of doing chapters over here, we have to do a lot of things at the same time. Otherwise, we're just wasting years in this game, which I don't want to too much. I'm doing it a little bit to kind of, you know, skip forward and not bore you. But right now, what I really want to do, I need to do rather sooner than later, go to the construction industry, actually search it for a second there, and build a big rail construction office. I'm gonna build it over here for two reasons. The first reason is we already have electricity over here, so we don't need to build new infrastructure. And the second reason is that we just have the space and we have like open roads. The next thing we will need over here is a bus stop. And I'm gonna be honest, I think a free bus stop for now is good enough because building a railway needs workers. So we need to get people from here. By the way, these are the foreign workers we're currently getting to here via direct bus lines and not just construction offices that take it once they need them. We will need a constant stream of workers to this building. And because later on we will need it anyways, I'm also going to build a road vehicle depot. Basically, this is just a parking space for our trucks when we don't actively need them. And if you want to do something like bus lines manually, you need a starting point. There are also like free versions of this, but we are a professional operation. Therefore, we build building and after money. Okay, it allows me to build a little bit more beautiful. So I'm going to do that. The first road is constructed. I'm just going to use this moment to connect this and connect this. I'm also going to start the construction of our first important building for the oil production and storage. It's not important in the sense of you 100% need it. You could just manually drive the oil away from all the pumping stations, but I think that's just a lot of work. So what I'm going to do is build an oil storage, pump it all into here, and then build one of these underground pumping stations. Once again, underground buildings are peak because they're not in the way of infrastructure. It's all going to go to a fuel loading, unloading station. I'm just very rudely going to build over here. So I'm pretty sure it will produce some traffic. This way they have like a buffer zone to where they are in the way if they actually stand in line to get there. And to explain what I just did, basically, if you want to pump fuel out of somewhere, you always need a pump station in between. So if I directly connect this storage to this oil pump over here, like this with an underground pipeline, it wouldn't actually work. Like the oil wouldn't flow over. You would need a pump station in between. So what I'm doing over here is connect this storage to a pump station, which is basically the end of this infrastructure, and then pump the oil into this loading, unloading station. The trucks basically can go in, load up with fuel, go away. I mean, they could also just go into the oil storage. The problem is it takes them longer to fill up here and it would create a lot of traffic. Plus, I want to use this fuel storage later on for different things. So this pump station could be double useful because then we can pump it over to a potential refinery. And we have this buffer zone, so we always know when we are running out of capacity from oil. So we're already preparing our advanced industry in the early days of the game. I mean, early days, more than a year past. Yup. This road over here is taking shape, so let's go. Might generally build right now a fire watch over here. I'm kind of scared that the building burns down very soon. So jokes aside, what I'm going to do like over here, because we can kind of squeeze it in, is build a fire station and connect this with that so the people can go from the bus station to the fire station. Because a fire station, surprisingly, needs workers. It is one of those buildings. Pumping checks over here don't need workers. That is an industry that can just work on its own, be perfectly fine with that. That's why we're building it. I think I didn't say this, why I'm building oil pumps right now. It's because it doesn't need workers. Because if you might have noticed, we don't really have workers right now. And the amount of people we get from over here, like 17 people right now available, that's not enough to run an economy. And we would need to pay for them constantly to import them. Plus, it's a big bottleneck. You already see the traffic starting to exist here to one by one go into the customs house, loading up and leaving. So this is quite the traffic inducer. Yeah, but that will be fixed once we have our railway connection, mostly. And this is still very satisfying to watch them build on the fastest speed, especially the roundabout. It's just very satisfying to see. So the depot over here finished and I bought 4 buses. What I'm going to do now is go over here and basically create a bus line. So I'm going to order it to go over here, pick up only the top thing because we don't want students, we don't want passengers, we don't want tourists, we only want workers, and tell it to afterwards go over to this bus station over here and unload them all. I mean, here doesn't matter if we filter because if they only load in workers, they can only unload workers. So yeah, and this bus now forever until the end of its days, which does exist because we did enable wear and tear, meaning that this bus will over time break down. That's a problem for future Florius. For now, we're just going to build this bus line and we're going to use this over here, copy schedule to another vehicle to copy it to all the other buses over here because we will need quite a lot of people to do what I want to do right now. I'm also going to buy right now an open hull vehicle for something different. And I'm also going to construct very crazily a distribution office over here and very selectively get a covered hull, a dumper, and an open hull. Main reason what I'm doing right now is basically send the buses out with a little bit of buffer in between. So they pick up workers from the customs house if there are any available. Actually, they don't care. They always try to pick something up. And if there's nothing here, they come back empty. They load them off over here and then they will go to this building over here and this building over here once it's done. I mean, right now they could actually help with the construction, but after that, they are mostly important to be the fire watch. And there you go. This bus was empty. It's just empty. The construction offices are stealing all of the workers right now. How dare you? And yeah, because there's always something to do, I'm just gonna very cheekily electrify this region over here. This everything connected. Gonna add dirt roads. Oh, actually, that interrupted the construction. I was about to say, if you connect a road that is being constructed with a footpath, it doesn't break the construction site in half. Apparently, they still get reset. That was stupid. But yeah, I'm just gonna like put them to roads so they start building that and then do the underground spider web of connecting it to... There's gonna be so much underground stuff here with all the pipelines. It doesn't matter. matter. Here on the Florius channel, we love a challenge because I'm the guy running it. That turns it automatically into a challenge no matter what. And yeah, not all of the pumps are built perfectly. Some of them are like the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. It's just some roads. They're not going to be actively used. I'm just going to use asphalt roads that if there is a fire, the fire truck can be there as fast as possible. That's the only reason. Doesn't need to be perfectly optimized for transportation, just for fire watch reasons. You might also ask why we have this distribution office over here that I very cheekily built and bought this truck over here. Basically, I'm going to assign this distribution office, surprise, surprise, to this customs house, the one customs house that we have, and order it to get everything from there. And we basically have all the trucks of different types so we can get all of the construction vehicles and load it up over here. Because for the railway construction, we will need a lot of stuff like gravel, steel, prefab panels, bricks, boards, electrical components. Now they're going to try to always keep this at 80% and get all the goods from the large custom house. Very good. Go forth, my distribution office. Fill up my railway efforts. On the other side, this over here is for a different reason. Because, surprise, surprise, railway construction needs a construction vehicle. And you might be surprised to hear that we can't get it via railway, because if I would build a railway right now, I always like to start with immediately building electrified railway, because it's quite efficient. Not to build immediately, but as a railway. But to be fair, all the construction vehicles are run via diesel, so we just need normal railway, at least to get the connection. Yeah, you might notice right now that if I build this railway, it just plans it, meaning it's not immediately built, because of course it isn't. This is a realistic mode. Welcome to your personal hell. I'm just already planning the railway going past here. That railway will be going down to Vienna later. But the priority is that we build a railway that goes all the way to the custom house. And I wanted to be built in one go, so those separations over here, I'm just gonna once again get rid of it. Actually, they added this tool now over here. Oh, yeah, that makes it easier. I didn't even notice it next to waypoints, which you can use to merge like two rails together by just building it and removing it. They actually added also the connect two pieces thing, which is, yeah, they added it here too, but it's hidden behind all of the other traffic signs. Oh my god, man. The devs of this game are like, they know what I want, but I just don't know yet that it exists. Very good. Welcome to the guide of this game, where even the guy making the guide has no idea what he's doing. Because I mentioned this will need fuel later, I'm gonna order my fuel trucks to also fill this up with fuel. This is over here, fuel tank. Yeah, fun. Anyways, while all of this is happening, this is basically the preparations for our basic railway construction. Bare minimum of that. Kind of unhappy how this looks. Now comes the OCD guy. This should go out straight and not slightly curved. There we go. And then connect. Yes, now my brain is satisfied. It's too much to decide. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about is we need to buy a rail construction vehicle, which are, surprise, surprise, under track builders. Problem is, we can't get those because we have no tracks, as I said before. So what we need to do is we need to get disassembled, and there we have the disassembled track builder that we can load onto a truck and then load off over here. It is the only track builder that exists, so it doesn't matter that we need to get it via the road. But later on, there are way bigger track assemblers, and those you can't transport via this cute little truck over here. And trust me, we want those because this small track builder is kind of shite. I have to say it is not good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order this truck to pick up vehicles and load it off over here. Very straightforward. So what this truck is now gonna do is it's gonna go to the customs house, be stuck in traffic because welcome to my life. The notification like, did you know that you have traffic jam? No, tell me more, please. Anyways, this truck now picks up the one vehicle that we do have over here and brings it to our beautiful rail construction office. And now stop doing that because it would endlessly do this trip now. Yeah, I'm gonna order it to go to the depot now, which is this button over here. Like you click the house and then you click the depot where it should go, or a building you want to assign a vehicle to, if you can. Once again, you learned something. You're welcome. I invite you to forget it immediately because I would. Anyways, the first few workers are actually arriving and we are only missing some goods. So once they're here, they could actually just start construction on this railway. Very, very cool. The fire station is also in the final step of being constructed. Very good. And over here, our spiderwebs of pump jacks is finishing up. Very, very, very good. And there you go. We start building the railway. I just speed forward and I just saw it in the background happening. So once this bus, okay, this bus is empty. Speed forward. Once this bus arrives and brings over workers, this vehicle will go out with actually full on workers. That was a very good bus. And very slowly, let me just speed it forward to see it's still very slow. Start building, and yeah, now it's done. This small thing here, it can build. Now it run out of goods and need to go back. If you want to speed it up a little bit more and you like micromanagement, you can click once it's done, move back to workplace for it to immediately teleport home so it can immediately start working again. But yeah, the problem with this track builder is that it can only build for a very short amount of time. And now that we have no workers, it's not building anymore. And we get like 2 workers. No, 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. This is why we're gonna start this as soon as possible. And that's why we want our own population, so we're less limited limited on workers than we are right now, which we are very limited. But yeah, on this side, I would say I could start to explain how I will connect all of these things together. Basically, I'm going to choose the underground pump that has 1 outlet and 3 inlets. Turn it into this direction over here. Gonna be very rude. I'm just gonna use a dirt road, otherwise it'll take forever to be built. And then we're gonna go to the underground map mode, connect this to that, connect this to that, and connect this to that. We always have to keep one side open because our little fuel silo over here only has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. I'm just gonna call it like that. So we basically have to create a huge conga line of oil pumps. We can connect all of these pump checks efficiently because they will not pump enough that it will fill the capacity of the pipe. So this should be enough because yeah, there's a maximum limit of volumina that can go through a pipe. Oh no, the studies come through again. I'm sorry. But yeah, so our main problem is basically just connection points. No real capacity problem in terms of volume. But yeah, I'm just gonna link them all up, create this conga line of pumps, and the last one in the line can actually be fully connected to everything. Yeah, I love how horrible this is, but that's how I'm gonna do this. You will learn very quickly in this game that you don't need to remember how your underground networks works, just that it does work and that you don't need to touch it once it works. If you don't believe me now, wait until we do sewage and water. Because then, yeah. Also something quite important about liquid storages, they can only have 1 liquid per storage. So we can't have like half of this be bitumen and the other one be oil. What I like to do, not important in this case, but it's kind of useful to get used to, just select what it should store. Otherwise, there will be some other liquid in there, especially if you have like a piping network that uses different liquids per pump, which you can do. But in case of storages, it is very much needed that you kind of classify what should be stored there. By the way, our first few pump checks actually start pumping. Fill up very fast and then, oh, you don't have electricity. I already feel the money. What I don't feel is a working railway network anytime soon. This is just very, very dreadful to watch. Gotta say, very big fan of this pipeline because this curve is too sharp. The game decided, yes. Very good Soviet planning here. But yeah, basically I connected all of the pipe together via underground pumping station, which makes this from the ground way better looking and better organized as long as you don't go underground, where it becomes a spider web. Very cool. Oh my god, this would be such a good moment to export oil, but we are like 2 pipelines away from starting to do that because we have electricity. We just need to connect the piping network. I could manually export this from all the pipelines. You know now how this works. Like select this, import, export, bam, right? But doing it manually for all of this is so annoying. Just having this one point where they all get it from is, for your sanity, better. And here we go. The oil business can start. The pumps reach the fuel storage, which reach the loading station. Very good. Now we are in business. These oil trucks over here, I'm just gonna call them. I'm gonna order them to load here. Oil. Wait until you fully load it, otherwise you will just go in. If there's nothing, immediately leave, which feels like wasted time. And export over here. It should also prevent a little bit of traffic over here, because especially with all of the construction going on, we have traffic. Yeah, first vehicle go. You know what? I'm just gonna immediately copy this order over here. So once we need more capacity to export, I will get more vehicles involved. As for our capacity problem, our railway construction is actually going slowly but surely. We're already done with the first railway over here. And once we reach this point over here and have unlocked a better track builder, which we already have. We have the better track builder. This is so good. This track builder is going to be one of the best for basically most of the game and costs right now under 100,000 rubles. I'm just going to buy 2 of those because the price of those will inflate quickly. And what I mean with that, I'll just, you know what? I'll just show you that next episode. Like the beginning of next episode, I'm just going to show the price of that, how much bigger it has gotten. And you shall see for yourself how much more expensive this has become, which normally in this game is not a problem because as prices increase, the stuff you produce becomes also worth more. So it doesn't matter. But talking about your starting money, it's actually quite important because you get a fixed amount of money and over time it will become worth less and less and less. So if you buy the more expensive stuff early, financially seen, you are better invested. Bro, I feel like a crypto bro saying this. Yeah, you're just gonna sell your house and liquefy your assets. Don't do that. Existential dread aside, let's continue with oil drilling. And we apparently already exported. Did we? Oh yeah, already exported. Look at that. Over here, you see entire list of everything. Overall, we spent over 500,000 rubles just in construction resources and I guess fuel. Energy is very cheap, by the way. It's not even 200 rubles yet, so importing that, no problem. And we gained a little bit back in construction waste. Oh, that's from destroying the road, true. Because, you know, if you destroy gravel, you create construction waste, and that's actually a good that you can export. Or later on, via recycling, turn into gravel again. Anyways, we exported oil, which is not a lot yet. 1,200 is nothing, but over time, this can really add up. I correct myself, over time, this will really add up. But I would say for today, I think this would be a good point to end, because I've recorded for like over 2 hours now, and I don't want to drag this out too much. We have a construction industry. We have a fire station that kind of protects our construction industry, and we are currently constructing and very much getting money from this over here. And we're actually, yeah, we're filling this up quite well. I'm going to activate all the fuel trucks now, because the more pumping jacks that get connected, the faster we pump oil and the more we can export. And with our trucks literally just not needing to wait anymore and immediately driving out, we will make good money with that. On the other hand, the railway is being built, and it's very essential that we finish this as soon as possible. So this is going to be the main goal of the next episode. That plus building up Vienna. Oh no. So today we finished infrastructure, construction industry, and a good way to make some money in the early game. Also, we started to construct on our railway, which will be a quite long project that will go on in the background and will be the backbone of our import. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you have any questions left or something that I just didn't explain, feel free to ask in the comments. I will be hovering over them like a hog, maybe. And I wish you a very good day.